Well, people. I decided to check out This Time Next Year. Right, this is the new film from Nick Moore. It is written by Sophie Cousens. Ah, you might pronounce that Cousins, maybe. I'm not sure. Right, it's Cousens. So, yeah, I say Cousins, but you know, there you go, people. It is produced by Erica Housington, Herbert Kulber, and Gilano Papida. It's executive produced by Katerina S. Pavlos, Francesco Paglioli, Shefali Malhotra, James Coop, and Sharia Cardoso, with line production from Ivan D'Ambrosio. Michael Price took care of the music. Luca Cuti was on cinematography. Melanie Vina Cuneo edits the piece. Andy Burley, Galenda Marini, Seth Mason, Susanna Smith, and Yuzu Tokudu were all down with the casting. That's a lot of people on casting, right? Production design, we have Francesco Scandal, Ilya Bossia, and Miriam Ugart took care of art direction. Melissa Facelino was set decoration. Costume design, we have Sharia Avasano. Hair and makeup, we have Cara Laricious Topping. Antonio Semonilla. Mary Samel. Caroline Evans. And Lucretia Kubedu. The cast. So we have got Minnie Cooper, played by Sophie Cookson. Right, her mum Connie is played by Monica Dolan. Her dad Keith is played by John Hannah. She has a best friend called Layla. An employee's Fleur. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Layla was played by Mandeep Gill. Her friend Fleur is played by Charlie Oscar, and Bev played by Keela Settle. Then there is Quinn Hamilton, played by Lucien Laviscount. His mother Tara, played by Golda Rocheval. Who else do we have? Yes, there is Greg, played by Will Hislop, right? Jonesy, played by Harry Mitchell. Ian, who is played by William Michael Roberts. Mrs. Mentis, played by Anita Dobson. Yes, we've got the younger versions. The younger Quinn is played by Amari Ali. The younger version of Tara is played by Rachelle Diedrix. The younger version of Connie, played by Yasmin Banks. We've got the younger versions of Minnie, right? So there is one played by Greta Klobia, a teenage version of Minnie played by Erin Hyland. We've also got a younger version of Layla, played by Payal Mystery. Then there's Hamish, played by Larry Dean, and Shailene, played by Shiloh Coke. They're the bus drivers. Lucy, played by Didi Anderson. That's Quinn's ex. Um, mm, mm, mm. Yeah, that's it, really, I would say. Um, okay. So the gist of the film, right? Minnie and Quinn are born on the same day, 1 minute apart. Their lives may begin together, but their worlds couldn't be more different. Years later, they find themselves together again. Maybe it's time to take a chance on love. That's it, right? And I'll say this, right? I'll say this. For rom-coms, you know, for anything in this genre, this is pretty standard, right? It follows the beats that you know. I will say that. It's actually also an adaptation of a book of the same name, which was written by Sophie Cousens, right? So she's adapted her own book for the film. Yeah. So yeah, it's that traditional thing with this film. We start off and we have got Minnie on her way out for New Year's. She's going to a party. You know, her boyfriend, he's he's got the party, right? It's his friend. So yeah, she's on the way, but as we see her going, we hear her talking to Layla on the phone. We don't know it's Layla, but it's Layla. She's talking on the phone, and we ascertain that New Year's Eve never seems to go well for her, right? There always seems to be an issue with it. And yeah, lo and behold, right? Obviously, all manner of issues go down. She drops her phone. I mean, she drops her phone, gets her dress caught. She gets trampled on the floor. Like, just her dress gets caught in the door of the tube. Just all of these things happen. But it's kind of all done in this really weird way, right? Because, she's holding her phone in a stupid way, which you wouldn't hold your phone like that when you're in a crowd. You know what I mean? Because you're going to get jostled. Then, when she's on the floor, look, it could happen, but I will say for the majority of times, people ain't gonna be doing that shit. You know what I mean? It's just like a little ridiculous the way it's all happening. So you're just kind of scratching your head a little bit with this one, I would say. Maybe, right? You might look at it and go, oh, well, no, that's fine. That's what I would imagine would happen. Oh. But no, it's all a bit just insanity. Then she gets to the party, right? Gets to the party and doesn't go in. Like, she's there before midnight. Now, what you would think, just call up your boyfriend and be like, I'm outside. Meet me. Look, I've just got here. I'm probably not going to make it in for, but if you meet me, well, you know what I mean? But no, doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. So you're just like, what? I mean, what's the fuck? Then there's the whole thing with the toilet. The whole thing with the toilet, people. It's just stupid. right? You're throwing in these things that are meant to be bad luck, but it's just it it just comes off as really forced, you know? Comes off really forced. Then you've got our two people meeting, and it's just like, oh my God, your birthday's the same day as I've never met anyone with the same. And you're just like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, I've met so many people born on the 1st of January. It's not a crazy fucking thing. You know what I mean? It's not a crazy thing to be born on the 1st of January. What are we doing here? Right? So we have all of this nonsense. Her work colleagues, Layla's fine, right? But when you look at Fleur and Bev, they are incompetent and terrible. You're not having these people in your work. Like, you wouldn't do it because they're so fucking bad. You know what I mean? It just makes no sense, right? You can show someone struggling in business maybe, but when you make it this preposterous, like the viewers just rolling their eyes like, come on now. You know what I mean? Not everyone is a business savant, but you know this isn't going to go well for you with these people in your corner. Like, people can be great friends, but you just don't, they're not good to work with. You know, so just all of this nonsense, like the parking ticket, the burning of the pies, just all of these things are just ridiculous. You know what I mean? They're just all ridiculous. We get this flashback to Tara and Connie in the hospital giving birth. There's this whole thing about a name being stolen. Whole thing about a name being stolen. Two people can be called the same name, especially when they're different sexes. It makes no sense. Right? There's just so much of the film that makes no sense. There's at one point, we get this flashback. That makes no sense until the very end of the film. Now, the flashback comes in the last third, right? And it comes at a weird time. It's put in there at a really weird time. And in this flashback, I say, you've got a younger version of our characters. And one of them, the voice is so different. So different. And listen, your voice can change as you get older. That's for sure. But it usually doesn't go from deep to really wispy and oh my God. It doesn't do that. The voice doesn't do that. So what the fuck was, like, you're scratching your head like, wait, what? What the fuck? That's insanity. Also, like, it makes us so many other things make no sense whatsoever. Because even if you weren't sure, you might go, hold on, were you, this might sound weird, but did you know, like, there's a question to be posed, you know? We have these weird things like that. They both had the same color towel, right? And they both happen to be at the lake at the same time, but at the same place as well. Because I imagine there's different places you could start off from, right? So being in exactly the same place with exactly the same, there's so many different colors. right? Two people choose it. You know what I mean? It's so the script again. It is a very on par for the genre and the films I hate in the genre. Because there are rom-coms and stuff that I think are really good. But this is from the field that I've never enjoyed. And it's just because like you have these forced interactions. Your characters are paper thin. Paper thin. Right? Like the reason why Quinn and Minnie like each other is just like why? Why do these two like each other? I don't even know. Right? Then the reason why they're not together is so dumb. It's so dumb. Right? You never have anyone have a conversation about an issue. Right? Like, and it makes no sense why you wouldn't. It's always just like, I can't. I have to go. Oh, I was doing it for you. I was saving you. And you're just like, shut the fuck up, man. You know what I mean? It's those kind of things. Or you have an issue that has been this crippling issue and it gets resolved real fucking quickly. Real fucking, like, you know, like there's a build up to it, but then it's just like, just come outside and be like, oh, look, I'm outside. And really, when people have anxiety about a certain thing, right, and you're trying to ease them back into something, it's little steps. So you might get them outside for a few minutes, right? Then they'll be like, okay, all right, I need to go back in, right? Then the next day, you'll try them for a little bit longer, then a little bit, and it's like that. It's not just like, oh, now I'm outside, and yeah, I'll be outside all day. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Like the pies? These pies are big, right? These are big pies, but we never get what flavor are your pies? Like, what's the variety of pies she fucking cooks? Are they all savory? Is there any sweet? Right? Is it all one type of pastry? Like, you know, it's just like, oh, my pies. Oh, my pies are so good. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? The wedding, and everyone has just got a pie in front of them. There is no veg. Right? There's listen, I know so most people with those kind they want a gravy or a sauce. I don't fuck with gravy and sauces, right? But I know most people do. And I can say, there's the amount of times I've cooked for people and they're like, have you got a gravy? Have you? And you're like, I got you. I've made a fucking gravy. Right? But to have all of these dry pies just on these people's plates with no gravy, no sauce, no vegetables was insanity. It was just like, what the fuck? And the size of the pie. Not all of these fucking people want a giant pie at the wedding. It was so ridiculous. I mean, the wedding looked shit. Let's be honest. There was no wedding vibe, right? It just looked like we were in a blank room. You know, the music, the atmosphere just looked dry as fuck. It was weird. The wedding proposal makes no sense, right? Because you know what dress you put on. So what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? It was so weird. It was so weird. And my man, if you don't know how to propose to your chick, then maybe you shouldn't be proposing. You know what I mean? Just saying. Just saying. So yeah, this film, it was just, it wasn't for me, as you may have surmised, right? But I feel these are all valid reasons where this all falls apart. Like the way people talk to each other makes no sense. Right? The dialogue was horrible. Like the acting is fine. You can't really blame the actors because they're just following direction. Right? So it'd be curious to know what was being said to them, right, for these kind of performances. You know? Like there's a bit in the garden when like they're kneeling there and one person pushes her and then she falls over and you're like, why are you falling over? Why are you falling over? Right? Like they're both in the hospital on their J's. So it's just like, wait, where's the husbands or boyfriends or whoever the other person was at that moment in time, right? Nothing is really clear. Nothing really makes sense. You know? Like Fleur is just a weird character saying weird things just to look all quirky. Because you're just like, no one's saying that shit. No one's doing that shit in public, man. What are we saying? What are we doing? But here's the jazz, right? This wasn't for me. But as I said, it is in the vein of your typical rom-com. So if you enjoyed The Idea of You, if you enjoyed It Ends With Us, if you enjoyed like Bridget Jones's Baby, Anyone But You, yeah, I mean, just roll so many recent rom-coms off, right? If they're your thing, you know, they're your thing, then you're gonna love this, right? You are going to thoroughly enjoy this time next year, you know? And maybe you can meet someone that was born on the same day as you and be like, oh my God, I've never met. Shut up. Shut up. Dumb people. Very dumb people. But yeah. This time next year, it's on Netflix. Enjoy.